Everyone.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning. Today we just continue the problems in LTI systems.
Ma'am, your voice is low, ma'am.
Voice is low. Mm, now, is it fine?
No, ma'am, it's same.
It's same. I think network is not a problem. Uh, Let me start the class so that we'll see. Okay, you can see the question in the screen. You can just copy this question. A discrete time LTI system has impulse response h of n shown in the figure. So you have the impulse response. H of n is nothing but impulse response. So H of n is this. Using linearity and time invariance property, determine the system output y of n if the input x of n is x of n equal to u of n minus u of n minus 3. U of n minus u of n minus 3. Copy the question along with the diagram and just let me know so that we'll start the solution.
Yes, ma'am.
It's completed. Okay, very good. See, the first condition for us is what? Both h of n, x of n should be in terms of a signal diagram. So here in this question, only h of n is in diagram form, x of n is in equation form. So I should try to convert the given expression of x of n in terms of diagram. So to solve that, we have seen n number of problems in the first module. So I know what is u of n. So u of n, it is a discrete time signal. So I have to write only the samples. So the amplitude is 1 always starting from 0. So when n is equal to 0, my sample value amplitude is 1. So similarly, up to infinite n values, I'll be having the amplitudes, or I'll be having the samples u of n. So next I should draw u of n minus 3. So u of n minus 3 means it is minus 3. That means I have to start my sample at plus 3. Plus 3, so plus 4. So that means this u of n which we have drawn, we are shifting it according to this shift position. It is minus 3. So remaining places I do not have any sample. So this again keeps continuing it. Now my question is not u of n minus 3, my question is minus of u of n minus 3. So you know how to draw minus of u of n minus 3. So if I draw minus of u of n minus 3, so my amplitude is now minus of u of n minus 3. Minus of u of n minus 3. So you know what is the change? The change is the amplitude will be having minus values. That's it. Okay. So these amplitudes are minus 1. So it starts from 3, 4 and it continues up to n is equal to infinity. So now I can just consider only the main diagram. So main diagram is the diagram which is drawn in red color, the diagram which is drawn in green color. So I have to add both the signals. So when I add both the signals, can anybody tell me at what values of n I will get the output? I'm just writing the n values in the x-axis. So I want the complete x of n. Can anybody add these two diagrams which is shown in the screen? Is 0, 1 and up to 2. What about 3? 3 will we get any sample?
It cancels.
Cancels. Cancels. Very good. So successfully I have got my x of n in terms of diagram. So at 0, 1, 2, 3 only I am having the samples. At all other places I do not have any sample. Okay. So I hope you have completed this now. X of n you have completed. So now I can use method 1 or method 2. Okay. In the yesterday's class, I have told, I will tell you when to use method 1, when to use method 2. So now I am giving you the hint. So the hint is method 1. Method 1 can be used only if the diagrams are finite. You can see h of n is finite. Even x of n is also finite. You know what is the meaning of finite? It is having only limited number of samples. That means at 0, 1, 2. My x of n is having the samples only at 0 and 1 and 2. Similarly, h of n is having the samples between -1 and 3. So I can say my samples are finite. If if my samples are finite in both x of n and h of n, then I can choose method 1. I can choose method 1. Okay. And even method 2 also can be used if the inputs are finite. If the inputs are finite. So listen carefully. So I can use method 1 only for finite inputs. Only for finite inputs. Only for finite inputs. Method 1 can be used only for finite input, which is very, very, very important. Only for finite inputs. That means if inputs are not finite, if it is infinite, 100% I cannot use method 1. Okay. But this method 2, I can use it for finite input as well as for infinite inputs. So till now we have seen only finite inputs. We have not gone to infinite inputs. So today we will do problems in infinite inputs also after this problem. Okay, after this problem number 2 as per my notes, P2. So till problem number 2 I have taken finite inputs and remaining problems all under infinite inputs. So I want you to just make a note of this hint in your notebook. So I have taught both the methods, method 1 and method 2, and I have given the hint when to use method 1. Method 1 is used only when the inputs are finite. Method 2, it can be used for both inputs are finite as well as inputs are infinite. Okay, so with this I will just start. So since method 2 is applicable for both the type of inputs, so rather than method 1, I will try to solve all the problems in method 2 only. So I hope you understood why we follow method 2 only, because method 2 is applicable for any type of input. So we will choose method 2 only for all the problems. But if you feel comfortable with method 1, if inputs are finite, you can choose that method also, that doesn't matter. So you know very well, method 2 what it says, I have the inputs x of n consist of 3 samples. So as per method 2, I have to consider only one sample. So that first sample I will take it as x1 of n. First sample I will take it as x1 of n. Before I do this multiplication, let me follow the steps, initial steps. You know what is the initial step? So if you see the screen, I have shared both h of n index as well as x of n index. So index I need to find. My y of n index are dependent on the index of h of n and x of n. So if I add the index -1 and 0, it says that my y of n should start at the index -1. Okay, so -1, then the center, the reference one is 0, and I don't know how many samples I will get. For that again we have a formula. So the number of samples in h of n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and here it is 3. So 5 plus 3, 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So I will be having 7 samples. Already I have written 3. So 2, 3, 4. Let me count whether it is coming 7 or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have to do up to 5. Do you have any doubts in this? Anyone? Is the step is fine? So my y of n will be having the outputs at n values. Initially, I'm finding the n values. This is not the answer. So n is -1, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have taught you how to find the starting index of output and number of samples in the output. So everything I have done it now. So now keeping this in our mind, we will just continue the multiplication process of x1 of n with h of n. So now I'm here, x1 of n with h of n. So I told in the yesterday's class itself, x of n irrespective of the positions of n. Okay, you don't worry about the positions of n in both x of n and h of n. You should multiply the amplitude of x1 of n with all the amplitudes of h of n, and you should know where to place that. So placing, what I said, placing, I said it is at -1 because my y of n is starting at -1. So I have to place the first product at -1. Okay, so when I multiply 1 into 1, so 1 into 1 is 1, I am placing at -1. This placing is very important. This placing we are obtaining with the help of the index of y of n. So the first step is finding the index of y of n. So next is I have to multiply that 1 throughout all the samples of h of n. So 1 into 3 is 3. So next immediately I have to place 3. Then 1 into 2 is 2. Then 1 into -1 is -1. Then 1 into 1 is 1. Okay. So I have done the multiplication and I have taken only x1 of n. So x1 of n multiplied with h of n will give me y1 of n. So my output is y1 of n. So is it comfortable compared to yesterday's class? Is it much clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So now I have to go to the, see, I have 3 samples in my input x of n. So I have to take the next sample. So next sample, I will take it as x2 of n. The next sample is at n value equal to 1. Okay. So now h of n, we have to keep constant always. And where I have to place the product now. See, initially in the first output, I have placed at -1. So for the next product, I have to place it at 0. I have to shift one position towards the right. So the placing of the sample value at n is equal to 0. Because the first output I have placed at n is equal to -1. The next output I have to place it at n is equal to 0 for the next multiplication. So x2 of n multiplied with h of n, if you see the diagram, so since x2 of n amplitude is 1, so the same value will be repeated if you take the product. So you should start from n is equal to 0 and you should continue. So it will go up to 4. So please copy down fastly. Is it completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
See, now I have a question to you. X3 of n I will multiply with h of n. Can anybody tell me where will I place the output? The output, the first product. 1. Very good, very good. So 1. So now you can, I'll just scroll up the screen so you can see that. So we have to place it at 1. So you can see here x3 of n, I am multiplying with h of n. So you can see in the screen I have placed the output at 1. So almost our work is completed. So have you written y3 of n output in your notebook, y3 of n?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now we need to write the final step. Y of n is equal to y1 of n plus how many outputs we got, that many outputs we have to write in this form. Y2 of n plus y3 of n. Okay. So now I want you to just see the outputs. So let me just scroll it up a bit. So let me see. In the first 2 diagrams, I can see at -1, I have the value only at first output. At y2 of n and y3 of n, I do not have anything at -1. So I can write my first output as 1 only. I'm adding the amplitudes. I hope you are getting it. So I will show you my output. My output at -1 is 1 only, because the other outputs does not have anything at -1. So similarly, can you just see the screen and tell me what is the next answer? If you compare the first two outputs, at 0, I have some amplitude. At 0, I have some amplitude in first output. So amplitude is 3. And here in the second output, I have an amplitude of 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Let me check at 0, do I have anything at third output? So I do not have anything at third output. So I can say my next answer is just 3 plus 1, 4. So 3 plus 1, 4. So I will show you the final answer. 3 plus 1, 4 is your next answer. You can see in the screen. So at n is equal to 0, my amplitude is 4. Similarly, see, scrolling up and down is very difficult for me. Can you just see your notebook and get me the next answer? I want you to add the amplitudes at n is equal to 1.
8.
8.
Ma'am.
8 is wrong, I think. Check it.
6, ma'am.
6 is the answer. So who has told 8? Please check the answer.
Yes, ma'am. 6. 6, 6, ma'am.
6. Similarly, at n is equal to 2.
4, ma'am.
4. N is equal to 4. Then at n is equal to 3.
2.
2. Okay, very good. And at n is equal to 4.
0, ma'am.
Very good. 0. And at n is equal to 5.
1.
1.
1. Very good. Very good. So you have to write your answer. See, like this also. Y of n is equal to. You have to write your answer in 3 different ways. So 1 comma 4 comma 6 comma 4 comma 2 comma 0 comma 1, and index you have to mark it properly. Index is always referencing 0. Okay. So if the arrow mark is shown to number 4, that means n is equal to 0 here. So this is one way of writing the answer. The other way of writing the answer is in diagram form. See, I have drawn diagram also. And other than that, you know how to write the output in terms of delta function. See, delta function, this one position, you know, at n is equal to -1, I'm having 1. That means 1 multiplied with delta of n plus 1, then 4 into delta of n, and the right hand side plus 6 into delta of n minus 1, 4 into delta of n minus 2, and 2 into delta of n minus 3, and 0 into delta of n minus 4. So I'm not writing that. So directly plus 1 into delta of n minus 5. So is it completed?
Yes.
Yes. So verification is always important, and I will tell you which problem you can do the verification. So let me write. See, anyways, I can write x of n and h of n. It is my convenience. So let me take 1, 3, 2. Just check whether the numbers I am writing it properly. So 1, 3, 2, minus 1 and 1. Is it right? My h of n value, is it right? Is it right? 1, 3, 2,
Yes.
minus 1. Yes, okay. So now I have to do just the multiplication, you know, which one will be multiplied with which one. So I'm just multiplying it. Since x of n is 1, our work is much easy. So multiplication with that will give me the same answer, 132 minus 1 and then 1. So the next step is I have to just arrange it in diagonal manner. So if you leave sufficient space, no, so easily you can make this diagonal lines. And okay, so as per this diagram, my first answer is 1. So first answer is 1. Let me take different colors so that it will be easier. Okay, 1. The next answer is 3 plus 1, 4. And next answer is 3 plus 2 plus 1, 6. And here it is 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. And here it is 2. And here it is 0. And finally it is 1. So is our answer is matching using cross verification method? So now I hope all of you understood this problem. We have solved 3 problems from yesterday. Okay, the first problem we have solved in both the methods, and second problem and third problem, today's problem, we have solved only in method 2. If you want to try in method 1, you can try it at home. Okay. And listen, one more thing is the cross verification you can do only when inputs are finite. Inputs are finite. When inputs are finite, then only you can do cross verification. If inputs are infinite, our cross verification method is not applicable. So you see the question, if the question inputs are finite, then okay, the steps are easy, the concepts are easy. You can easily solve it using any method, and you can use verification to verify your answer. So now the next problem I will tell you, if the inputs are infinite, so we have to analyze much, and we have to write the answer. Okay. So now from here onwards, each and every problem is unique. Okay. And I have put star here. Why means, so I have referred the question papers. In one or the other question papers, this problem was asked. So those type of problems I have put star in my notes. So I want you to just copy this question. Evaluate the discrete time convolution sum. See, instead of asking use linearity property and time invariance property, find y of n for the given x of n and h of n, they may give like this also. Find the convolution sum. So both the questions are same only. It implies same only. So in the earlier problems, we have not used this convolution sum. Instead, they have asked find the output y of n using the property called linearity and the time invariance. So they have given the question in twisted way. But this is a single word, we can use it, which implies the same, which we have discussed in the earlier problem questions. So convolution sum means what we have done in the earlier 3 problems, same thing we are going to do it. So gives convolution sum. So you have to evaluate the convolution sum, discrete time convolution sum, because for the continuous time signal, it is not convolution sum, it is convolution integral. I have told the word when I have given the introduction about this topic. It is convolution integral for continuous time signal. For discrete time signal, it is convolution sum. So they have given y of n is equal to u of n convolution with, see this symbol, this is nothing but it represents convolution, u of n minus 3. So I can think that this is my input x of n and this is my impulse response h of n. So instead of giving separately x of n is equal to u of n in the question, and h of n is equal to u of n minus 3, instead of giving like this, they can give like this in the question. So u of n convolution with u of n minus 3. So it is my convenience. And if I see the question, x of n is also unit step u of n, and your h of n is also unit step, but with some shift in the signal. That's it. But both are unit step. Okay. So now I can split this question as per my convenience. So this u of n, I can take it as x1 of n, and u of n minus 3, I can take it as x2 of n. See, I can also write u of n equal to x of n and u of n minus 3 equal to h of n. See, but the book which I referred, they have used this variable x1 and x2, so I am just following the same. If you write x of n is equal to u of n, h of n is equal to u of n minus 3 also, nothing is wrong. So it is our perception, how we want to take, like that we can take it. Okay. So now I want you to just write this. Let x1 of n is equal to u of n, x2 of n is equal to u of n minus 3. So now you know how to draw x1 of n as per this term u of n and x2 of n as per this term u of n minus 3. So all of you know this, how to write it, okay? So I have shown in the diagram. X1 of n I have written, this dot 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 is important. After n is equal to 3 also it goes up to infinity. It goes up to infinity. And x2 of n, I know, this is a shifted version of unit step signal u of n. It should start from n is equal to 3, but right side you can see here, in my notes that dot 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 is missing. So it goes up to infinity. So once you have completed this diagram, please let me know so that we will proceed to the next step.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. See the difference between the earlier question and this question, you can see in the earlier question, x of n was in terms of u of n and u of n minus 3. So when we solved it, my output x of n was finite. It was finite. It was directly finite. Even h of n was finite in the previous question. Okay. But in this question, it is direct x of n is this, direct h of n is this. You just assume like that. Direct x of n is this and direct h of n is this. So now it is both are infinite. So if both are infinite, the analysis is little different. Okay. And we do not follow the steps of the previous problems. Here we have to do the analysis in different way. And throughout this module, we are going to solve the problems based on the infinite concepts. Okay. So now you can see, I will just write my output y of n. As per the question, y of n is equal to u of n convolution with u of n minus 3. You have to rewrite this again. But as per my assumption, I can write y of n is also equal to x1 of n convolution with x2 of n. Okay. So now, if you turn your sheets in your notebook, the introduction of this LTI systems, I have done the derivation. Y of n is equal to summation k equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. We have done the derivation. X of k, h of n minus k. Do you remember this? Do you have this in your notebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now what I'm doing is, this convolution meaning is this expansion, that's it. Instead of using the convolution of one signal with another signal, I can expand that signal in this way using the formula which we have derived it. So if I expand that, my answer is here, summation k equal to minus infinity to infinity. In place of x, I have x1 here, so it is x1 of k. And in place of h, I have x2, so it is x2 of n minus k. So this step is very important. So now, after this formula, I want you to just follow the steps which I am showing here. As per the formula, my variable within the bracket of x1 is k. So as per the question is having x1 of n, because my diagram is in terms of x1 of n. I have drawn the diagram. There my variable is n only. So what I am doing is, as per the formula, my variable should be k. So I am replacing n by k. I am replacing n by k. So if I replace n by k, I will get x1 of k and its respective diagram is this. X1 of k and the respective diagram is this. So now the time or x-axis is k only, because n I have replaced with k here. So x1 of k is your y-axis and x-axis is just k. So this dash dash dash, you have to write it without fail. This has a lot of importance. Infinite. So is the first diagram completed, replacing n by k, x1 of k is. So we will proceed to the next step. The next step is, as per the formula, I have x2 of n minus k. Okay. x2 of n minus k. But as per the question, what I have, yeah, n minus 3. Okay, fine. Let me do it. So my first step is, as per the formula, my term is x2 of n minus k. I am just making n value as 0. N value as 0 here. If I make n value 0, then the expression what I get is x2 of minus k. So this step you have to follow in all the problems. So these steps are given by the person who has done this problem initially. Okay, so we have to follow as like how he has done, the same way we have to proceed it. So in x2 of n minus k, I have to make this n value 0. So I will get x2 of minus k. So I know my second signal. My second signal I have assumed as x2 of n. I hope you remember that x2 of n I have drawn from n is equal to 3. N is equal to 3, then it went like that. Okay, so this is the diagram I have drawn. Am I right here? Do you have any confusion? x2 of n, it is from the question. My second expression I have equated to x2 of n and I have drawn the diagram. Any doubts in this?
No, ma'am.
No. So now because I have made as per the equation or formula, it should have n minus k in the bracket. So what I have done, I have assumed n is equal to 0. So I am getting x2 of minus k. So what I should do here, in place of x2 of n, I should replace n with minus k. Okay, because I want minus k in the bracket. So as per the question, I have n, x2 of n. So it should be now n is replaced by minus k. So minus k means, you know how the diagram is changed. See, initially plus 3 plus 4 my samples were present. Now it is just the opposite. Minus means, so it is minus 3, minus 4 and minus 5. You can see in the diagram now the infinity terms will come towards the left hand side. Okay, because of that minus k. And your x-axis is now with respect to k. It is not with respect to n. Okay, and this complete amplitude I have drawn for x2 of n minus k. So do you have any doubts in this? If you do not understand this, further problems you cannot understand. So any doubts, if you have, you just ask me. As I said, these are the standard steps we have to follow in the problem. Okay, so is the diagram completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now, say I will just locate this origin. Origin, as per the new diagram, it is the x-axis is k. So k is also equal to n, because in general my x-axis is n for the discrete time. So k is equal to n here. Okay. So here from minus 3 onwards, I have the sample values. So I have to locate what is the value of k here. I know currently my x-axis is k. So k, how I can write k? K is equal to, I can write in terms of n as n minus of 3. So the sample value starting from the index minus 3. So it is n minus of 3. Remember, whatever value is there, from where the sample value is starting, that number we have to put along with n. That's it. If my sample would have started from plus 3, then I would have written n plus 3 like that. So here don't get confused. In the first module for shifting, minus 3 means we will take it towards the positive side and plus 3 means we will take it towards the negative side. That concept is not applicable. Okay, so I hope now you understood why it is k equal to n minus 3. So this is very important. K is equal to n minus 3 is very important. Okay, so now I am just going to compare the two diagrams. Convolution means I have to perform the convolution between this one, convolution between x1 of k and x2 of n minus k as per the formula. I have to perform the convolution. So originally as per the formula, I am just multiplying x1 of k with x2 of n minus k, and I am just going to sum everything. Okay, I am going to sum everything. But originally I have to multiply these two. Now, can anybody tell me at n is equal to -1 and -2 and -3 and -4, will I get any outputs? You are just multiplying now these two. Please analyze it properly and tell me.
No, ma'am.
No, very good, very good. So you don't get anything, right? So can I say n minus 3, when n minus 3 is less than 0, my output y of n is equal to 0. Can I write like that? Think properly and tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So n minus 3 less than 0. That means less than 0 means, see here 0 is present here. Less than 0. Less than 0, I have done the multiplication. I am not getting anything. So my output is 0. So when my output will be present, when n minus 3 is greater than 0, I will get the output. So you can ask me, ma'am, how we will get the output? Because when we did the previous problem, we kept shifting the samples towards the right hand side and we performed the multiplication. Okay. So when n minus 3 is greater than 0, I will get the output. So with this, I will stop now because the meeting will end now. So we will join back and we will just discuss further. So I will just